Welcome back. It is the Flow Friday Sports Show here on Flow FM. It's time to talk softball in regional South Australia. And joining me now from the Gawler and Disctrics Softball Association is the president, our regular here on the Friday Sports Show, Veg Ingram. Good to be with you again, Veg. How are you?
Very good, Ellis. It's definitely hot this week. So hopefully we'll get to play the games on Saturday, but going really well.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We'll certainly be previewing them anyway. But to get things started today, Veg, let's check in on the men and find out how the Giants have trekked in the last week.
Yeah, so the men played really well last Friday night. It was a very tight contest against Phantoms Black. They went down in the end 7 runs to 10, but it was a very close game. But this week, tonight, they actually play the Hillbillies, who are currently sitting on top of the ladder. So the boys have a really tough game ahead of them tonight. So it should be a good one to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully they can mirror the efforts of a side from a similar code in the capital city, Adelaide Giants, who had a very good day out last weekend in the baseball. Well, Veg, let's look back at what happened last weekend with our regular competition, starting with the T-ball. How did the little critters get on?
Yeah, so the T-ballers were back on the diamond, and it was fantastic to see them out there again. They had a lot of fun, particularly with T-ball. It's all about just the very basics. Running the right way around the diamond is always a good start, and just learning the real basics of throwing and catching and where to stand to hit the ball off the tee. So it was great to see them back out there again for the remainder of the season.
All right, Veg, well, let us know how the under-14s got on. I'm sure they would have been keen to get back into the action last weekend.
Yes, it was great to see them out there again. So we had 2 games played last week. We had Kangas versus Trinity College Yellow. So the young Trinity College Yellow fought really hard and managed to score each time in the 3 innings that they played, with Tani hitting 2 doubles and Vaughan having safe hits. But unfortunately, they were no match for the experienced Kangas lineup. There were some really big hitters from Kangas with Blake and Chelsea hitting really big hits, and one of Blake's was almost went in the car park. It was so big. So it was a fantastic game, really big hits from the Kangas team. But unfortunately, the Trinity lost 3 runs to 11 against Kangas. So the other under-14 game was Giants versus Trinity College Red. So in softball, there are some really key positions that can make or break a game. And I guess the main combination is the battery. So that's made up of the pitcher and the catcher. And last week, unfortunately, Trinity College Red missed their main pitcher, and that just put additional pressure on the team's defence. Giants were just really strong with the bat, with some really big hits coming from Dan, Memphis, Sienna and Neil. And the Giants end up winning that game 14-2. So I think Trinity College Red are really looking forward, hopefully this week, getting their main pitcher back, which will definitely see a difference in the games.
And give us an update on the under-17s game from last weekend as well, Veg.
So this week we had in the under-17s Kangas versus Blue Jays. So I did say last week that this one would be very close, and it was very close all the way through. The final score was 7-all. So Kangas ended up getting some more runs in, but the way the game works is you have to complete an innings, so the game reverted back to 7-all. So that was a very close game this week.
All right, we'll move into discussing seniors action. The 2 Div 2 games, how did they progress last weekend, Veg?
Yeah, so we had Giants versus 2 Wells. So 2 Wells took the lead early with a home run by Emily Hillman and a triple by Heather Baldock, leading by 6 runs. Giants actually came back with determination, which was good to see, scoring 6 runs to even the score. And it was 10-all in the end before the game was called. So a very close game, a good comeback from Giants. So that was a great game to watch. The other game was Kangas versus Blue Jays. So Kangas dominated with the bat against Blue Jays. Blue Jays fought really hard but just couldn't catch up. There were some solid hits by Kangas, Brooke and Fran, while the Blue Jays battery of Rachel, Brian and Taylor Peel combined well with some strikeouts in the second innings, but the final score was Kangas 13, Blue Jays 4.
All right, and the showpiece, the Div 1, the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme. How did these 2 games go, Veg?
So we had Giants versus Blue Jays. And this was a fairly evenly matched in the beginning, both teams scoring in the first innings, holding each other to no runs in the second innings. Blue Jays scored a further run in the third and pumped out 7 in the fourth. Giants came back to score another 4 runs in the fourth, but it wasn't enough to get them over the line. Blue Jays winning that game at 12-9. Now, the other Div 1 game, this one was the game of the day. It was an extremely tight contest between Kangas Grey and Two Wells. 5 innings were played in the 75 minutes, so that's actually quite a lot in that time frame. Usually you might get 2 or 3 in. So no runs were scored till the 3rd innings when Molly Rudiger hit safely to centre field for Two Wells and then scored Megan Conway and also hit to centre field. Two Wells scored again in the 4th when Heather Baldock was walked, and then Molly hit a wonderful hit that brought Heather home. And Kangas were scoreless until the final innings with 2 outs. Nikki Schiller hit a double to left field and then brought in Bron Smith, who hit it safely to centre field that scored her. So credit to Two Wells, who kept their nerve throughout the game to make the 3rd out and hold on to the narrowest of wins. The final score was Two Wells 2, Kangas Grey 1. So it was a very exciting game.
All right, and as far as our regular Saturday competition goes, we'll start with the under-14s, or perhaps there's T-ball on actually before then, Veg.
Yeah, so the T-ball starts at 9 o'clock, so that'll be held on the Cricket Oval out at Carbeetham Reserve. So hopefully the little ones will be running around out there on Saturday morning, weather pending. And then at 9:30, we have 2 under-14 games. We have Trinity College Yellow versus Trinity College Red. So Trinity have actually split their teams fairly evenly throughout this season, have a lot of new players as well as some experienced players as well. So this should be a really good, friendly match to watch. The other game in the under-14s is Kangas versus Giants. So both teams are coming off a win from last week. So I think this one will be a fairly tight contest.
All right, and in our one under-17s game, how do you see it going, Veg?
Yeah, so we have Kangas versus Giants. So I really think this will be another tight contest. Both teams have had some big hitters in the team and some very fast runners. So I think this one could go either way, and I think it's going to be a really good game to watch, a really good battle between both clubs on that one.
Let's talk Div 2. Who have we got lining up this week?
So at 2 o'clock, we have both Div 2 games being played. So we have Blue Jays versus Giants. Giants have a little bit more experience than the younger Blue Jays side, but Blue Jays are quick and have some talent. So that'll be a good game to watch. The other Div 2 game is going to be Kangas versus Two Wells. So Kangas are coming off a win from last week with some strong battings, and Two Wells will really need to tighten up their defence to try and stop Kangas from scoring this week.
All right, let's talk Div 1. Now, it's going to be some very exciting softball out in the regional parts of South Australia this weekend in your jurisdiction. Veg, just highlight which games we've got to look forward to.
So at 4 o'clock, we have both Division 1 games. We have Kangas Blue versus Giants. So Kangas Blue are sitting on top of the ladder, and Giants will really have to hold them in the field because, as we know, Kangas are very strong with the bat. And Giants will really need to be aggressive with the bat this week. But I really think Kangas Blue probably have the upper hand in that game. But you never know what happens on the day. The other Division 1 game is Blue Jays versus Kangas Grey. So Blue Jays are sitting a bit higher on the ladder than Kangas Grey and are coming off a win from last week against Giants. So my prediction is probably Blue Jays for that game. But you never know.
That is true. Now, before we let you go, Veg, still a couple of items on our agenda for today. One of those is SAPSASA. For those who are listening from interstate, this is the best players in primary school and high school representing their schools, Veg. So what more can you tell us?
Yeah, so SAPSASA, I have very fond memories of playing SAPSASA. So SAPSASA is the South Australian Primary Schools Amateur Sports Association. Very fond memories playing it as a kid. It's a lot of fun for kids to get involved. It encompasses a whole variety of different sports, so it's kind of run through the education department a little bit. They have links there. So each year they have SAPSASA softball that's played at Barrett Reserve at West Beach. That's also where the baseball's played and the main softball in Adelaide. Primary school kids can come from all over South Australia to represent their districts, participate and enjoy this wonderful sport. And it's open to children who are affiliated with affiliated schools. So kids will need to check with their schools. And because we've had a bit of a change here in South Australia with our grading, I guess, Year 7 is now part of high school. So it's open to Year 5s and 6s. And the competitions for SAPSASA softball this year will take place in early April. So for those children that are in the Gawler, Playford, Salisbury East or Para districts areas, the first trial will be held on Wednesday, the 22nd of February at 4 p.m. at Carbeetham Reserve, and it's open to both boys and girls. So there'll be a couple of trainings. They'll select the teams, and then it's a 3-day competition at West Beach. So it's just a fantastic opportunity for existing softballers, but also for kids who don't currently play the sport who would like to give it a go, particularly boys that maybe come from a baseball background or a cricket background. I remember last year we had quite a few of those that participated in the softball as well. So for any parents out there in the regions that are really interested in softball, ask at your kids' school and see when the tryouts are. So it's a great experience for kids, making new friends, getting some new experiences. So good event, looking forward to it.
Yeah, good on them. They'll be having some fun. I've got some pretty fond memories of SAPSASA too, Veg, watching my friends try out for it while I was at the tuck shop supporting them. Let's move along. We'll talk about, before we let you go, the 40-year celebrations for the 40-year anniversary of the association, which is coming up soon. We'll remind our listeners once again to go out and buy tickets, certainly for those who are Gawler-based or based in the surrounds. So just remind us once more, Veg, about how good this night is going to be.
Yeah, so really looking forward to it. So the 40-year celebration is coming up on Saturday, the 18th of February. It's going to be held in Gawler. For tickets, go to the website, our website, gawlersoftball.com. It's a great opportunity to celebrate softball, 40 years in Gawler, and reconnect with old friends. We've started up a Facebook group called GDSA 40-Year Celebration. People are joining that and posting old photos, and it's just fantastic to scroll through them and go, oh, I remember them, I wonder where they are, and looking at the crazy hairstyles we used to have in the 80s as well, so that's always fun. You can tell when the photo was taken, what era it was in based on the hairstyles people had. So really looking forward to a wonderful event and catching it with everyone.
Veg Ingram, the Gawler and District Softball Association President, thanks again for your time. We'll speak to you next week.
Fantastic. Thanks,